The following is a presentation of Learfield. Welcome to Duck Insider.
Our whole athletic department, there's a level of expectations of success.
Throw, catch, touchdown, Oregon.
He can run and slam.
This is back out for a three. Left wing is good.
In the air to center, back at the wall. It's out of here.
Really excited that we get to rep our Ducks and hopefully come back to Eugene with some championships.
Indoor track and field national champion.
Oregon repeats as the Pac-12 champion.
And for the fourth time in the last 6 years, the Ducks are Pac-12 champions.
We have so many teams that are excelling right now, and it's really fun to be a part of.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Better banking, local solutions. Live from the Country Financial Studio, here's Joey Mack.
Thank you, and it is officially game week around the University of Oregon Athletic Department. Every year you get to this point, there's like pressure washers going on around. Everything starts to get cleaned up. There's usually just a palpable buzz everywhere around us. And that's what we felt at practice this morning. The Ducks were in full pads for the first time during game week. Travis Dye said after practice today, like, no, man, this was a different vibe. That's just the way that things are going right now. So it brings me great pleasure to say that keeping with the tradition of having the athletic director on the show every single game week, well, we've kept the tradition going. I went back and looked as Rob Mullens joins us, Oregon athletic director, here to kick things off today. I went back and looked, Rob. We have not broken this tradition since I've been doing the show. You've always been on game week, so thanks for always taking the time.
Well, I love being on, and I'm glad it's game week. Any chance to be on, and we're going to have fans in Autzen Stadium.
Yes.
And who doesn't love a good power washing?
That's right.
I mean, that is just incredible therapy when you mentioned that. My wife, when we bring out the power washer, you better get everything out of the way.
That's pretty funny. Yeah, it's the first person that ever said that to me was actually Craig Pintons. Craig Pintons said, "Yeah, so this is when you know that the week is here, because there's like this cleaning that happens around. It's actually pretty wild." So, all right, we got a full show for you, though. Rob Mullens will stick with us here for the first couple segments. Matt Ulmer, Oregon volleyball head coach, is going to join us. But we pulled a little bit of inception for you when it comes to Oregon volleyball because, well, actually, they're currently on a plane as we speak right now, live in the 1 o'clock hour. But we still have Matt Ulmer for you, and also offensive coordinator Joe Moorhead with a full breakdown of what to expect when everything kicks off on Saturday. How excited are you to be back at Autzen Stadium with fans in it on Saturday?
I'm thrilled. Autzen is a special place, and those passionate Oregon fans are a big part of what make it special. And I'm anxious to have them back in. I'm anxious for them to see the new video board.
Yeah.
I'm anxious to hear the motorcycle. I'm anxious to hear coming home. I mean, there's just so many things that we missed last year that just aren't the same without fans in there. And so, while it will be a little different and we aren't quite back to normal, we are able to have fans back in, which is a big step forward.
Now, we know that things are different. We've been talking about it on Duck Insider a lot. To encourage you, for those of you who will be in attendance at Autzen Stadium, go to GoDucks.com, click on that red banner across the top. Get familiar with all of the new game day policies because things do look a little bit different. And I think maybe the biggest thing that I want to talk with you about, Rob, is just if this is what it takes to have people back in, let's do it.
Exactly. Obviously, as we've done throughout the entire pandemic, consulted with the University Incident Management Team, Lane County Public Health, and Dr. Ludke, and appreciate all that he and his team have done, as well as OHA. So, but as you said, we do have the opportunity because of the vaccine to have people back in Autzen Stadium. We're really excited about that. And it will be a little different. Please be patient. Our team is doing everything possible to execute these new protocols. But much like you're reading across the entire business world, there are labor shortages. We have supply chain issues. So while everything won't be exactly the same, I can assure you we've got a team of professionals that have been spending long days and long nights preparing for this, but it will be different. Get in early and expect there to be some lines. And again, we just ask folks to be patient.
Yeah, there will be definitely some things to adjust to from week to week, and that's the other piece of this, right, Rob? Is apart from mobile ticketing, all of this is going to be evaluated week to week, and so there's going to be a lot of new updates for fans.
That's exactly right. We're in very regular communication with the healthcare community, particularly Lane County Public Health and the university's incident management team. Machofsky Center will be closed for Fresno the game this Saturday. But again, as you said, we'll revisit this week to week as we understand what's going on with the community and spread and hospitalizations, and then hopefully we can inch back to truly a normal Autzen Stadium throughout the season.
Well, the new normal of Autzen Stadium, though, is something that I do want to ask you about, and that new normal is an awesome video board and a tremendous sound system. We already got a comment today, Rob, on the Facebook stream saying, I hope that the sound quality has improved. I can tell you from experience it has.
I can assure you the sound quality is strong, probably one of the best in the country now. You will be able to hear what the referee says when he turns on the mic, and I suspect that we'll have some folks that will hear some loud music, and it's an incredible video board. The quality of the video, the quality of the sound is next level. It's one of the best in college football.
Yeah, and that was the plan, right? I mean, that was the goal.
It was the plan. This project started out as really just trying to fix what the comment was about was sound. But as we got to planning, we had a very generous donor suggest to us that, hey, why don't you think big if you're going to do this? And think about what the next iteration is for Oregon football in Autzen Stadium. And that next iteration was, in fact, getting to a video board. So, through conversations with Jordan Pape, he really challenged us to look at this differently. And so we did go back to the drawing board and said, you know what? He makes a really good point that if we're really going to move forward, instead of just doing patchwork sound, let's think about what the next generation of Autzen Stadium is. And can't wait for fans to see it. I think they're going to be really impressed.
Yeah, it's awesome. Speaking from experience with the sound and just everything, it is a truly game changer. And that's, it's kind of the evolution of the experience of a college football game, right? I mean, in a lot of ways, you're kind of competing with TV, aren't you?
We are competing with a lot. The home viewing experience, professional sports, free time.
Yeah.
And so, we do want to provide that. And again, if you haven't been by Autzen, you can see the physically imposing structure. Yeah. The little video board that faces out to the parking lot and to PK Park and to Pape Field has been utilized. It's been utilized by Public Health. We've utilized it for some of our own home events. And it will be a great message board for those in the parking lots. And again, I want to reiterate, I encourage folks to start getting in earlier than they're normally used to.
Yeah, so 2 hours before kickoff is when the bowl will open, and believe me, there will be a countdown to kickoff on the back of that video board. In fact, our man Scott Phillips has actually been creating that video today.
Oh, great!
So it's already in the works.
Just make sure you hit the start button at the right time.
That's right. That's what we were just talking about. Actually, that's so funny you say that. We were talking about okay, so
that's
what
pressure.
if it's off, right? Exactly. One of the most stressful jobs, and I'm behind the curtain if we could, is the countdown clock operator at a basketball game, because you have to start it about an hour and a half before, and you got to make sure that you hit it right on the nose.
No doubt. And when you look, for those who haven't seen a detailed itinerary for a college football player on a game day,
oh, man,
it's down to the second as to what groups go out to warm up when. So there are lots of people relying on that exact clock.
Yeah, so just to give you an idea, the Saturday, September 4th schedule that I have sitting on my desk is actually 3 pages long because it is that specific. So there you go. This is why it's called Duck Insider.
This is way inside. We're making sausage here.
That's right. We've really gone behind the curtain. So we talk all about the things that are going on around the game, but on the field, this sure looks like it's going to be a pretty fun year.
No doubt. Obviously, so proud of how our team has come through this. Last year was a really difficult year with all the protocols and the start and stop. Limited season, no fans was really a challenge. So I'm excited for these young people who've committed so much to Oregon athletics, to Oregon football, to have a chance and go out and show. They've had an incredible offseason. I think we've shared on here that our football team is in the mid 90% vaccinated. So doing everything that they can to get back on the field. A great opponent. Looks like it's going to be beautiful weather. So it all sets up for a great day at Autzen Stadium.
And I'm looking forward to it. 11 a.m. kickoff, a 9 a.m. pregame show here on the Oregon Sports Network. 11:01 official kickoff, by the way. So you want to talk about getting in early. That's another reason that you got to get in early, because it's not like an 11:06, 11:15. It's 11:01. That ball's going to get kicked off.
Breakfast with the Ducks. Here we go.
So are you a breakfast burrito guy?
No, I'm kind of more of a traditional breakfast guy. So, eggs, bacon, sausage, toast.
So every time we get into one of these 11 a.m. kickoffs, I always ask everybody, so what's the tailgate food for this? You could do the traditional breakfast. I'm a believer in the burrito because then it keeps a hand free for high fives.
Well, I love the burrito, and it's easy. It's easy to execute in a tailgate situation. I can tell you this. If you wander around the parking lot, you will see some creative breakfasts, not only food but drink. And if you really want to see one that just goes over the top, Judge Hogan always has the best tailgate, and you never know what you're going to find at that tailgate from a food standpoint. But there will have been some thought that went into it, and Judge won't like me sending thousands of people by his tailgate, but it is an incredible pull-behind setup, and they know how to do it first class.
Yeah, that's a good recommendation. There's a few of those, though, throughout. I'll be honest, I need to at least take one of our pregame shows off just to walk around the parking lot.
I would highly recommend you go mobile in a golf cart and just go do the Taste of Autzen.
I feel like you can't. You got to walk it. Don't you? It's a lot of steps.
That's the way I like to do it. It's hard to cover that much ground, but if you're going to be eating that much, it probably is wise to work it off as you consume it.
Yeah, no doubt. I made this comment to you, I think maybe like one of the first years I was doing the show, that when you walk around, are you like undercover boss? Like how many people look at you and they're like, oh, I feel like that's got to be kind of fun for you to be able to do that sometimes.
Yeah, no, that Saturdays are one of my favorite days for a lot of reasons, and one of them is that you can just get out amongst the fans and say thank you. That's really why I'm walking around, is to say thank you. And obviously when you're out there in the role that I hold, you get a lot of input, and so you get the pulse pretty quick. But it really is just to go out and say thank you, and the energy and the buzz. That's why we love college athletics, the pageantry. And, this is one of the best places to do that. The green and yellow. I mean, I love getting up and just, whether it's going to your local market of choice, to your local Safeway or Albertsons, and seeing people pack in their cart with tailgates, just going around town, seeing the marquees that say Go Ducks. That is one of the fun things about being in a college town, and our town embraces college football.
No doubt about it. Rob Mullens, the Oregon Athletic Director, kind enough to join us. Talking so much about the excitement, I want to get into a few of the bigger picture things with you. If we're going to get a quick timeout, come back, spend a little more time getting ready for college football season, because it's officially here, as the Ducks will play Fresno State here at Autzen at 11 a.m. on Saturday. More coming up on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Welcome to Toyota's National Sales Event.
Thanks. I've been waiting to get a new Toyota all year.
Well, right now we've got exciting offers on our lineup of 2021s, like Camry, Corolla, RAV4, Tacoma.
Highlander. Jan, do you mind watching Chance?
Oh, okay. Listen, Chance, I run a tight ship, so I don't want any funny business. Who's a good boy? Toyota's National Sales Event is on.
Current offers end September 7th. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Toyota. Let's go places.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics, because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in. OnPointCU.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Your daily dose of Oregon athletics. This is Duck Insider from Learfield.
Steven.
Who said that?
Me, down here.
Ugh, what are you, a yellow booger?
I'm a banana slug, Steven.
What are you doing in my room?
I'm your sense of adventure. It's been a long time since we've had an adventure in the forest.
Mom took me to the forest last year.
I'm a slug, Steven. It took me a long time to get here.
You're right. I should get out.
Yeah, the forest is not that far away.
Hey, Mom!
Come to the forest where the more adventurous you lives. Check out discovertheforest.org for cool places nearby. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
America, your children have an amazing superpower. That's right. They can help save lives by simply washing their hands. Just 20 seconds of thorough hand washing after they've coughed or sneezed or been outside can help fight against the dastardly spread of germs. Armed with only soap and water and hands, your superhero can protect you, your family, and everyone out there in America land. Amazing! Find out more at coronavirus.gov. A message from the CDC and the Ad Council.
Back on Nugget Cider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Joey Mack here with you inside the Country Financial Studio, and Rob Mullens kind enough to join us here during game week. So is game week for you busier than an average week? Does that happen in your job as well?
Yeah, I would think that particularly the first game week. I mean, game weeks tend to be a little busier, but the first one out of the gate, you're finalizing a lot of details, and so yes, it is busier.
11 a.m. kickoff at Autzen Stadium. Gates will open at 9 a.m. Parking lots at 7 a.m. Encouraging all of you again to head to GoDucks.com. Check out all the different updated game day policies related to mask, vaccines. There's going to be some lines, going to have some patience, and then we can all get back into Autzen Stadium and enjoy some football. With that in mind, the rest of the Pac-12, after one team got a chance to kick things off last week, the rest of the Pac-12 is kicking things off. I was curious about your visit with George Kliavkoff. The Pac-12 commissioner was in town.
Yeah, we had a great visit. Really appreciate George early on in his tenure taking time to do these listening tours on campus, and he was here 2 full days, and we stacked him with meetings, and he wanted to meet with a wide variety of groups, donors, coaches, senior staff, all levels of staff, student athletes. And so really appreciate him taking the time and coming in with an open mind and just hearing about the college experience at the University of Oregon, and also share kind of his background and his vision for what we can do together to strengthen the Pac-12.
What is some of that? I mean, what did you take away from meeting with him?
I think he's, the reason he was attracted to this job is because he believes in the college experience. He believes in the priorities of the Pac-12. And given his background in media, in big events, he sees the opportunity that lies before us with the strength of the Pac-12, the Academic and Athletic Alliance, the TV deal coming up, and what we can all do to elevate.
So there's obviously a lot of headlines about a lot of the different things that you just referenced. I mean, how much has that taken up your time these days?
A considerable amount. Yeah. Obviously people have read about the Alliance and obviously spent some times on meetings in that. A shifting landscape with NIL, with realignment, and now the NCAA has announced a constitutional convention and gathering some info on that. And this also happens to be the year that I'm the chair of the Pac-12 ADs. We rotate that chair. So, there are a lot of moving parts in college athletics these days.
So you didn't plan to have it be this year. It was your year, huh?
No. Ray Anderson at Arizona State had it last year, and given what we were going through from a protocol situation, we had far more meetings than we would in a normal year. So Ray carried the baton, handed it to me, and so now it's my turn.
All right. So what does that add to your plate? I mean, what are you doing in that role?
You're chairing some meetings. Obviously, you spend some more time talking to conference staff in preparation for those AD meetings, and then when we get together as a council, I share the AD's update with the faculty athletic rep, the senior women's administrators.
So you've done that, college football playoff selection committee chair. What else can we add to the resume?
I'm on the USOPC Collegiate Advisory Committee, so I get to do some of that. It's when you care deeply about college athletics, the Olympic movement, and all these pieces play an important part. And I'm fortunate to be in a role at the University of Oregon that offers me those opportunities at some of these other entities to make sure that we're advancing the ball in all areas.
Talk about the bigger picture with Oregon Athletic Director Rob Mullens. You mentioned the Alliance, the ACC, Big Ten, Pac-12. Just what was your reaction to that?
I was thrilled. Yeah. I was pumped. When you look at it from a strength, 3 like-minded conferences, I'm sure you've shared the statistics. 27 of the 34 Power 5 AAU institutions lie within those 3 conferences. There's already some strength in partnerships there. When you look at us, we've scheduled Ohio State this year, Michigan State. when we went to Virginia for a football game, the East Coast Ducks all rallied in Charlottesville, and that was a really cool experience. And Marcus Mariota went for about a 75-yard touchdown run on the first drive, as I recall. So, I think there's some incredible opportunity, a lot of work to be done. The devil's kind of in the details there, but I love the big thinking. Trying to figure out what's next and making sure that we position the Pac-12 and the University of Oregon in the right way. And I think this alliance gives us an opportunity to do that.
There's a lot of conversation about scheduling and, you're not going to break contracts, what that looks like. But one of the things that I was kind of curious about, Rob, is just like the foresight here. Like, this is planning for the future, isn't it?
It really is planning for the future. And, fans may remember back in 2010-11, we had a similar conversation just only on the football scheduling side with the Big Ten, and didn't get it across the finish line. But again, when you look at our scheduling philosophy, it fits right with what we're doing here. We've played 10 Power 5 games a year. I think it gives us a chance to get some fresh opponents that we haven't had to Eugene. Gives us a chance to go with our fans to some new, places that are passionate about college sports.
Sure.
So it is forward-looking, it is bold, and I'm excited to see how we can execute it.
A couple more minutes with Oregon Athletic Director Rob Mullens, getting ready for football season, kicking off at 11 a.m. at Autzen Stadium on Saturday. But volleyball season off and running, soccer season off and running, and cross country starts tomorrow. So we're officially in the fall season.
We are full go. Obviously, Coach Graham and Coach Olmer and their programs are off to a great start. And volleyball is going to find out real quick here, and a great opportunity for fans to come see some great college volleyball here next week. But just excited to get going. Really, again, so proud of our student athletes for what they endured, how they prepared, and excited to see them back out there.
If I talk about volleyball just for a quick second, Matt Ulmer, Oregon volleyball head coach, is going to join us coming up next segment here on the show. But Penn State, Minnesota, and Stanford are all going to be here Friday and Saturday of next week, the 10th and the 11th. So early morning kickoff for those of you that aren't making the trip to Ohio State. Then your afternoon's going to be spent with Oregon volleyball. And those are, in the last decade, those are perennial top 25 teams.
There's a lot of national championships, a ton of Final Fours right there within that group. So I don't know what the rankings are currently with those 4 programs, but I'm sure they're all ranked in the top 15.
Yeah, they're very high. It's going to be a real showcase of volleyball at Matthew Knight Arena. That's next week. The Ducks, though, have to get through number 23 Rice here coming up on Thursday. They're making a trip out to Texas, too.
Yeah, no, I'm really excited. Obviously went over and saw our team some this weekend. If you love just pure athleticism, Brooke Nunevillers is about a great women's athlete if we've had at the University of Oregon.
No kidding.
She's fun to watch.
No doubt about that. Oregon soccer also off to a 2-0-1 start. They're already almost to their goal-scoring number from all of last year. They've been off to just a great start, and that's pretty cool to see Graham Abel's team at work.
It has been, and in a couple of those, we've been behind.
Yeah.
To see the team stay calm, stay focused, and carry out the plan, I think is a good sign for what's ahead in Pac-12 play.
Cross-country season, anytime you're at Oregon, you got to talk a little bit of track and field, a little cross-country.
No doubt. They'll start off with a little meet here this week, and then they'll go do some training over in Central Oregon to get ready for a year. And, obviously high expectations for both of those programs. We have a lot of returners on the men's side, so it'll be fun to see what we can do.
So football season kicks off on Saturday. What else should fans know? What did we miss today?
No, I think we covered it all. Again, just really excited to be back in Autzen. Again, things will be a little different. As you said, encourage folks to stay in touch with GoDucks.com and our social media channels in the event that anything changes. But we've done our best to try to communicate exactly what folks are going to see and expect. But again, just really ask for folks' patience.
Download that GoDucks Game Day app yesterday and get your tickets loaded in so that you're not trying to figure it out there on game day, because it's going to make you feel a lot more calm. Trust me. Get familiar with it. And that's here to stay, mobile ticketing.
That is here to stay. And, it started with the airlines. We've seen it across a number of industries. I went to a couple of MLB parks this summer and experienced it as a fan. Each time it seems to get a little easier. Put it in your Apple Wallet, easy to execute. So, really, exactly. Get familiar with it, get dialed in, and hopefully, work together to make Saturday as smooth as possible.
He's Oregon Athletic Director Rob Mullens. You may see him walking around the parking lot, hitting some different tailgates in the morning. You'll definitely see him on the sidelines or somewhere around Autzen Stadium on Saturday. Thank you for the time, sir. Thanks for what you do.
Thank you. Can't wait to see everybody on Saturday.
Coming up next, Matt Ulmer, Oregon Volleyball. We talked with him actually yesterday. We're pulling a little Inception on you. More coming up on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
After 2 years of construction, my wife and I finally moved into our dream home. So when a bathtub fixture broke, causing major water damage, I was glad we had the home insurance protection we needed. How do you know your home is protected? Talk to a Country Financial rep like me, Nick Simon. We can help you understand your options and select coverages to meet your needs. Then if something happens to your home, you won't have any surprises. Need the right coverage for your home but not sure where to start? Visit TakeSimpleSteps.com or contact a local Country representative.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in. OnPointCU.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
You're listening to Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Watch out! You got me!
The galaxy is safe once again.
In the pretend universe, kids play with pretend guns. In the real world, it's up to us to make sure they don't get their hands on a real gun. If you have a gun in the house, keep it locked, unloaded, and stored separately from ammunition. Safe gun storage saves lives. Learn how to make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. That's endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by End Family Fire, Brady, and the Ad Council.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed. Oh, yeah? Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too. Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Back in the Country Financial Studio, it's Duck Insider presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Well, we're sitting here on a Monday afternoon. We're going to give you the inception behind the curtain, all right? This is Matt Ulmer, Oregon Volleyball head coach. He's here. Hey, thanks for being here, buddy.
Oh, thank you.
Really
Thanks
appreciate
for
it.
having me.
Well,
Appreciate it.
Thanks for coming in, especially on a Monday afternoon, because they're going to be on a plane when we would normally be talking on a Tuesday afternoon because they're heading out to Texas. So we'll talk about that in a second. Let's talk about this past weekend. Anytime you get 3 wins, it's usually a pretty darn good weekend. What'd you make of your team's opening weekend?
Yeah, I thought it was a really promising weekend for us. I thought our defense looked sharp already, and we held teams under 100 for the weekend, which is great. I think our offense definitely had some bright spots, and probably the best thing was I appreciated San Jose State. I thought they've really improved and they're getting better, and they were able to give us a little bit of a push and kind of show us where we need to improve upon. Which was nice to see, especially heading into the week with Rice and SMU and then Penn State, Minnesota, et cetera. So, I think our right sides, the connection can get better with our setters on our right sides, and that's been a strength of ours is Morgan Lewis and Gloria Mutiri scoring on the opposite for us. So I think once that gets better, then our offense really will flourish, and I think there's a lot of really good bright spots, so I'm encouraged to see where we go.
Is it normal at this point where you have bright spots instead of one, like, shining example of a set? Because, it's early on still, right? You're still going to have some things to improve on.
This really just feels different than any other season because it was just like a small break is what it feels like from when we played last time. We left, we played April or whatever that was, and then, we still had a month of practice. So May 1, and now they're back. So it doesn't feel like it's been since December, because it hasn't. So it's been a short gap. So I feel like we're much more mid-season form than we are opening week. So I think we're a much more polished group than you would normally get in preseason. And then again, it's like, okay, so now where do we really need to improve the most, or what things are maybe a little bit off that we can just focus in on? So the other piece is we're a pretty old, mature group now. Yeah. So it was fun. Just even like our classroom session today, really talking specific things that I know that they can see when they're out there, and we can make some different reads or make some different adjustments and schemes. And if you're a young group, that's a lot to handle. But this group, they understand it and they know what they're doing. They can talk about it themselves. So it's a fun time to be a coach.
Do you anticipate and did you anticipate with that shorter break that across collegiate volleyball the level of play was going to be a bit higher? Did you kind of anticipate that?
Yeah, and so many people came back for their 5th or 6th year, like Taylor Borup.
Deeper rosters.
Totally. And so, we have more scholarship athletes than we'd ever be able to have because of the extension, and other schools are doing the same. So I think, you would just feel that would be the case. And again, just the shorter turnaround, which you don't know if it's going to be a negative or a positive. I think for us it's a positive, and I think because we took a pretty good break in summer and everybody got away, and then just coming off of success and then having that hunger for more success, I think all that's going well for us. So our practices are just going to be lighter throughout the week, because of that. So I think that's the adjustment to make. And then just trusting our maturity and what we've done to develop, and knowing that we can just make game time adjustments and things like that. So
Matt Ulmer, Oregon volleyball head coach, coming off a 3-0 start to the weekend. Now they're on the road to Texas coming up over the next couple days. We'll tell you about that in a second. Your rotation with the depth of roster, that was something we were talking about heading into the season. What'd you learn about your rotation? Did you learn a lot? Are you still going to experiment? What do you think?
Yeah, the first few weeks of practice, I just kept trying a lot of different things, seeing if there was a lineup that was better for us or made more sense for us than what we ended the season with. And I ended up with the same exact lineup as what we ended the season with. So, I mean, I think it's probably our best lineup, at least for now. But we have more people to insert into different positions. We have more depth. And Taylor Williams went down with an injury, which was a bummer not to see her this past weekend. I've been raving about her a little bit and just so excited about her development and her growth. And she'll be back hopefully soon, and we'll be able to see her too. But Kiari Roby stepped in, did great. Becca Morris, amazing, and Annie Stathouse, and so it's just cool to see some of these other players get in and just kind of put in the spot and next person up mentality and contribute right away. So I thought the rotation was good. Again, if we score a little bit better from the opposite, then I think our offense stretches even more, and that's going to be a tough defense.
One person that we could talk about every week because she's just that good is Brooke Nunaviller. She was on one of 3 of your Ducks that was on the Oregon Invitational All-Tournament team. You average over 3 kills and over 3 digs per set.
Yeah.
You're probably doing something right. So one, how many players in the country can do that? 2, is this just another day in the gym for Brooke Nunaviller when she has stats like that?
Yeah, it was interesting because doing media this last weekend, no one asked me about Brooke.
Really?
And that's the first time ever, I think, in the last 2 years that I didn't get a Nunaviller question. So I think that's refreshing. She's definitely playing her highest level. So it's not a knock on her. It's just that other people are stepping up and catching your eye, and we're becoming more well-rounded, which will only elevate her game even more. So, she's just 3 kills, 3 and 3 digs a set. That's a big deal, especially at the hitting percentage that she hit at. But for her, that's just what she does. So you don't want to take her for granted. You want to just appreciate her while you have her here, and I know our group does.
Abby Hansen was terribly efficient. She
terribly
hit
efficient.
720, over 2 kills per set. Her development, I mean, what has she brought to the table for you? Not to mention nearly 1.5 blocks per set this weekend, too.
Yeah, and I think, last year I was really throughout the season, it was really about can we get more out of our middles offensively, Carson Bacon and Abby Hansen, and now with Kiari Roby. And it was slowly coming, and we'd have kind of spurts of it last season. You could see glimpses, and then after season we had the 4-week training window, and Abby exploded. Things clicked, and all of a sudden she's hitting the ball really hard and moving it around, and so it's fun because she works as hard as any player I've ever worked with, and she does things all the right way, and so you just really want her success. And so between her and Carson Bacon, they were both we set them a ton. And that's a really good sign for us. I think that's really important for our offense. And now all of a sudden we're able to go to the other 4 pin options, and they now have maybe a hole in the block or not as dedicated of a defense against them. They're going to be more effective. So that was a really good sign that Abby, was so successful. A lot of teams last year would load up on Gloria and shy off of Abby, and I don't think they're going to be able to do that this year. And hopefully that alone is already going to allow our offense to score more.
Depth. That's the
team sport.
Team sport.
How about
Gotta have depth.
Need everyone.
What a concept. Also, great
crazy.
socks and sandals today. Really, really well done.
Thank you.
I noticed that when you came in. Just had to make sure that it was referenced.
Is the prototype ready?
No.
Not yet, huh?
No.
I think we need to get on that.
I think we do too. But, I'm going to be honest. There are people that are far more versed in apparel design than I.
I think it's a fall-spring thing.
Probably.
Winter it's probably a little too cold for that and summer it's too hot. So I think it's more of a fall-spring seasonal thing.
Yeah, I've been thinking too, in addition to what some of the prototypes we've already discussed, you absolutely could have a sandal that has the sock attached. It could be like a boot.
Yeah.
That feels like more of the fall Matt Ulmer line.
I think so.
Have you discussed having your own apparel line? I mean, what do you think?
I'm going to call Phil.
I mean, you've got a signature. There's a lot of people that have a signature shoe, right?
Yeah.
Why can't you have a signature sandal boot?
And I think nobody else has done this before, So I think grandparents around America would thrive in this situation.
I'm so excited now for for your entire roster and Lisa Peterson, others within the athletic department.
I get so much stuff from my team about this.
That's great.
But that's okay.
Matt Ulmer, Oregon volleyball head coach. Coming up on this weekend, you guys are hitting the road to Texas. I was kind of curious. When you schedule a team like Rice, who's number 23 in the country, that's a top 25 matchup. You guys have some more top 25 matchups coming up at home next weekend. Just how'd that get scheduled? Was this one that you kind of had on your dartboard and you happened to hit the dart and you were like, let's do it?
Yeah. So we do our best to take our student athletes home, at least once in their career. And so Georgia Murphy, our libero, is from Houston. So we're able to, we're trying to figure out who could we schedule in Houston and when could we do it. So this is something we tried to do last year in 2020, but then COVID didn't allow us to play out of conference. So luckily, Rice was able to adjust that with us, and then they're actually going to return to us next year.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, which is great, and they've been really successful. So I think that's going to be a fun matchup. It's a really tough team. They're really tough at home. But we get to bring Georgia home and see the Murphys, and Annie Stathouse is from Autzen, which is a few hours away, so her family there, and then Morgan Lewis's sister, a lot of family. So we're going to have a lot. We're going to have a pretty good crew, I think, in Houston. So we're looking forward to that and just, being in that part of the country and having some good barbecue.
Good.
Yeah.
So that's why you're really going a day early.
Day early, and just get Georgia home, and we just want everybody to be able to see her, and she's been so good. I'm excited for all of her family to be able to see her and some friends that maybe haven't been able to come out to Eugene.
Yeah.
Be able to see her play live.
What's it going to be like, too, to go into an environment like that? I mean, what's Rice's crowd like? Do you know much about it?
I think it's going to be crazy. Yeah. They've beaten Texas, I think, the last 2 years.
Heck yeah.
There. So, I think they pack it out. I'm assuming this will be a very important game, on their schedule to get fans into, and I'm hopeful for that. I told the team today.
Well, big RPI opportunity for both of you, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. No, it could postseason implications type thing, so it's a great.
No pressure here in the fourth, matchup of the season, but.
It's just what we're used to.
That's right.
With the Pac-12, it's like everybody's good, so, you just want to kind of keep that going. So Rice is going to be good, and SMU is very good right after them. And so, we'll see where we're at. Again, what I said about San Jose State is going to hold true this weekend. We're going to know a lot more about our team after this weekend heading into the next homestand.
Talking about the environment, I mean, if I could look ahead a little bit, and the next time that you guys are at home, it's going to be when football's on the road at Ohio State, and I am miserably upset about that.
Is that a big game?
Kind of.
Okay.
But I'm miserably upset about it because you guys have an awesome, awesome event the following weekend. Just, Coach, we talk about having fans back, coming home to Autzen this weekend. You guys had your coming home, but we want to pack Matthew Knight Arena here in a few weeks, don't we?
Yeah, so September 10th and 11th, we host Minnesota and Penn State. And Stanford is here, and they play those two teams also. So you have 4 top 20 teams. Russ Rose is arguably the most decorated coach in NCAA. Hugh McCutcheon's former Olympic gold medal coach. Stanford with Kevin Hambley and their group have won how many national championships? And they're all coming to Eugene, and so we're really excited to. We feel like we have a really competitive team, and we're going to be able to put on a good show with those teams. And other than I think 2016, we had Texas, Nebraska, and Florida here. Probably this will be, the other greatest volleyball display in the state of Oregon. And so I really hope that our fans, I understand we play that morning, but that night feel like getting out after all the tailgating and the celebration of a Duck victory over the Buckeyes to be able to come to Matthew Knight Arena and do it all together.
You're on the right wavelength here.
That's right.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. I mean, so you guys get a little taste, though, of what it's going to be like being on the road in one of those environments here, it sounds like, against Rice. But we hope coming back to Matthew Knight Arena, it's going to be a lot of fun.
We need our Duck fans. We need a big support for this one. It's in our sport, this is a really big deal, and so we want to be able to show how great Oregon volleyball is and our fan base.
Well, and if I could, shout out to the fans because – That's why teams like this want to come to these sorts of events, right?
Yeah,
like
definitely.
You put on a great show. If you build it, they will come.
That's exactly right. And our group is working hard, and they deserve your support.
Yeah. He's Matt Ulmer. He's the Oregon Volleyball head coach. Hey, safe travels to Texas.
Yeah.
What's the in-flight entertainment for you? Are you like you a movie guy on a long flight to Texas? What are you doing?
I think I just finished Ted Lasso, which if you haven't watched.
Yeah, it's great.
Oh, my gosh.
Fantastic.
So funny. It's so good.
It's so good.
Yeah. Big fan of that. So now I got to find, what do you got for me? I need to start something new.
Boy, you just finished Ted Lasso. So you watched Friday's episode already?
Yeah.
Oh man, okay. So you're caught up. I got to think about that.
Okay, let me know.
Yeah, I'll let you know.
I need to download something tonight.
We're gonna have to see. You want comedy?
Or else it's gonna be card games. It's gonna be cribbage with the
That's
team, and we have some new freshmen that are into it. So might have to put them in their place early.
Okay, fair enough.
So
fair ugh.
We'll go that route if we.
Hey, is Flat Joey coming on the trip?
Oh my gosh, maybe he should. I didn't even think about that.
I have this vision.
Wow, what an opportunity.
I have this vision now.
Oh, man.
Of so those of you that don't know, Coach Olmer stole my cardboard cutout, and it is currently in your office.
No, it's in Dave Butler's because he has the look of Villard right there.
Okay, so it's in Dave Butler's office. If you ever walk by, you're gonna see the broadcast schmuck.
That's right.
I had this vision of and I half expected to get a video from you of you packed your suitcase and then you shove him on top and zip it up.
I can't hurt him. He's too pretty.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
I was wondering if it was going to suddenly be this thing where you're going to put me up in hotel windows and freak people out or something.
It's a really good idea. I'm kind of bummed I didn't think about it first.
Well,
we'll see. We go to D.C. in 2 weeks, too. That might be fun to take you around the White House.
Yeah.
That could be.
I think that this
Joey around town.
Hey, I feel like you could really take a play on Flat Stanley here and do where in the world is Flat Joey with Oregon volleyball?
It could happen.
I mean, not that you need more to do.
Yeah, well,
but
I'm always looking for.
If somebody wants to just walk around and film this and give us narration, we will run it on the show.
Okay.
So I mean, I feel like that is the ultimate peek behind the curtain. Am I right?
I think so.
On that note,
I like it.
Thanks, Matt.
Thanks.
Coach Olmer and his Ducks on the road. Rice, number 23 in the country against the number now 13 Ducks, heading on the road coming up this week. So safe travels.
Go Ducks.
When we come back, a little more Oregon football from practice today. The Ducks are in full pads. Talk about all that coming up on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Flat Joey in the suitcase.
Dear past, present, and future football watchers, football is back! So consider this your official excuse for always putting football watching first, courtesy of Pepsi. That haircut appointment? Seeing the in-laws for the first time in ages?
It's been so long!
Nope, sorry Susan, not if it's on Sunday. Long story short, after the year we've all had, we think you could use a little football watching. So crack open a Pepsi and cheer your football watching face off. With love, Pepsi. Made for football watching. That's what I like.
As my family continued to grow, I realized I'd have to replace my beloved Jeep with something that has, well, more seats. I'm Jason Hines, Country Financial Rep and father of 7. Whether you're upgrading from your sporty ride with no room for a car seat or finally replacing your well-loved beater that still has a cassette player, you'll want the right protection for your new car. Work with a Country Financial Rep like me and get the protection you need at a price you can afford. Learn more at TakeSimpleSteps.com or contact a local Country representative.
This is Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Okay, forest animals, kids are coming to the forest, and it's up to us to make their visit a good one. Sparrow, have you practiced the most popular bird songs for the year?
Of course.
Catchy. I like it. River, how's the temperature?
It's a refreshing 52 degrees, man.
I love it. Turtle.
He's not here yet, man.
He's late every morning. Okay. Squirrel.
The forest has been preparing just for you. To learn more about cool things to do in the forest, visit discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Tom has been a teacher for over 40 years. One day, I think one of the students had asked the question and he didn't remember the answer. And I also noticed that he was letting his class out earlier than they were supposed to let out. I was really starting to worry.
Levi and I talked about how it would change our lives, but he was there beside me.
When something feels different, it could be Alzheimer's. Now is the time to talk. Visit alz.org/ourstories to learn more. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Back on Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Joey Mack here with you inside the Country Financial Studio. Great conversation yesterday with Matt Ulmer. I really appreciate him taking the time. They're actually currently on a plane out to Texas right now if you're live with us in the 1 o'clock hour. Hey, Jeffrey with a great question. I saw him ask this yesterday. So can we get some brush trimmed on the river side of the stadium so we can see the O of Autzen from the freeway? Jeffrey, I think that's a great idea. That is way above my pay grade. I have this vision now, though, of some Duck fan being like, I'm going to go do that. Don't do it unless you're really allowed to, okay? As cool as it would be. Joe Moorhead, Oregon offensive coordinator, met with the media yesterday. Some of his thoughts on the Oregon offense, the depth chart that we've been running through, and, yeah, the Ducks are getting ready to play Fresno State. Here's what Joe Moorhead had to say to preview that matchup at 11 a.m. on Saturday.
Hey, Coach, I noticed that on the organizational chart, there's a couple really young guys in the receiving corps that earned spots at the top. Monteval and Troy Franklin. What have those guys done to earn those spots?
Yeah, early enrollees who've been here since January, so been able to get a lot of valuable reps throughout spring ball and fall camp, and those guys have been very productive, made a lot of explosive plays. Coach B-Mac's done a good job, teaching them the system. So great to see, like you mentioned, a couple young guys coming out ready to contribute.
Joe, and they create a lot of disruption in the backfield, did last season in particular, and started again on Saturday. Returned a lot of guys and then supplemented it with a guy like Brom and Mosby's back, Maeve at linebacker. Just what do you see in terms of their ability to create a lot of disruption in the backfield?
Yeah, the two defensive ends, 99 and then 3 who played linebacker last year. 3 had a strip sack fumble against UConn, and 99, combines a speed, power, and some good pass rush moves, and the 2 interior guys very stout. I think both 6'3" in the 315 range. But they're able to split double teams. Very stout against the run, and they affect the passer. So that they presents a great challenge for us in game 1.
Yeah, Joe, just the give and take of them having a game and having that first game jitters out, I guess you will. But you also have film on them; they don't have film on you. What's just kind of that give or take right now for you?
Yeah, I think it's, when you game plan a first opponent, you're generally going off of last year's film, which you're making game plan preparation, which is somewhat speculative. So for us to be able to, see them in game action, it's kind of a double-edged sword. It gives us information, better information to prepare, but also, they have, like as you mentioned, one under the belt. So probably a little bit of a push there in that regard.
Coach Chris Ball was just telling us that the backup quarterback is still a work in progress, is to be determined type of thing. How is that position shaping up right now in practice?
In practice, the guys are like every other position. The guys are coming out and they're competing, and I've been excited about their progress. As you mentioned, a true freshman and two redshirt guys. So, I'm happy with how they're, conducting themselves in the meeting and learning the offense and how they're taking that to the field. And so we'll keep getting the reps, keep having them compete, and go from there.
Coach, with Anthony now being named the starter, where have you seen maybe the most growth from him when he arrived at Oregon, not just this year but last year to now? And then are there benchmarks or things you like to see accomplished in the first game at the quarterback position, just because it is your first time seeing an offense against a different defense?
Yeah, I mean, Anthony's a little bit unique in the sense that he's played a lot of football as a starter at a high level. So I think the biggest change now is that he was operating in a backup capacity last year, and doing his best to learn the system, and kind of got called on at the end of the year and played well. And now he's been working with the ones, and I think a continued understanding of the system, and between spring ball and now, he's really done a nice job with creating explosive plays, protecting the football, and making plays with his feet. So just want to see see that play out on the field on Saturday.
Coach, with CJ Verdell and Travis Dye, so established at the top of the chart, running back, you have a lot of talent in that room. What did you see from Trey Benson to tab him as your next in line?
Yeah, Trey's, Coach Masher does a great job with those guys, getting them ready to go. And, Trey's, a guy I've seen, play for a long time since he was at St. Joe's in Greenville. So Trey is a very physically gifted, big, strong, fast, excellent change of direction. Runs behind his pads, can make people miss, has nice hands. So he's a guy that we've had very high expectations for in regard to his performance, and he's lived up to them throughout practice, and excited to have him get an opportunity to perform in games. So real excited about Trey, his current status and his future.
Last year, you had kind of a 6-man rotation on the starting offensive line, and you kind of returned those same 6 guys with a lot of depth behind them. And now that you have a full off season and you know everything's in person again, now that you're 5 days out from game day, how are you feeling about that starting group? In terms of development.
Yeah, obviously you've got Coach Cristobal and Coach Mirabal in the room, and they're getting coached as good as anybody in the country. I think the 2019 Oregon offensive line was, unless I'm mistaken, the most experienced in the country. And then we went to 2020 and had the least experienced line in the country, and still managed to do some very, very positive things in a COVID year, quote unquote, with a new system. But now all those guys, as you mentioned, have a year's worth of experience, a spring ball and a fall camp under their belt. I think they're being developed incredibly well, and I think they're excited for the opportunity to play a game in year 2 of the offense.
When you see a defense compete like they did last week, shut a team out, hold them to I think under 100 yards, all that, does that help just kind of make sure everybody's focused? I'm not saying they wouldn't have been focused, but does that catch the attention of the room of just when a defense performs like they did? Yeah, I mean, anytime two FBS teams play against each other and you shut them out, and I think it was 105 yards of total offense, maybe 35 yards rushing. I mean, that's impressive on air. I mean, if you're able to do that against an opponent, and I have worked for Coach Edsel and been at the UConn program, so I know that they develop those guys well, and it's an outfit that understands what they're doing. So for Fresno to be able to do that, and it's dang impressive by their defense. But at the end of the day, Coach talks about it all the time. Regardless of who we're playing, we prepare and play to a standard. So our level of preparation, effort, or execution shouldn't rise and fall based on our opponent. So certainly we have an unbelievable amount of respect for their defense. But Coach preaches all the time that if we take care of ourselves, good things will happen.
Hey, Coach, with Troy Franklin, how kind of specifically have you seen him improve and kind of earn that #1 spot during camp? Yeah,
obviously, very high expectations and a highly rated player coming out of high school for good reason. But I think he's physically developed. He doing a great job with Coach Feld and the staff in the weight room. Working on his size, his speed, and explosiveness and strength. But I think the big thing for any freshman, particularly, at that position, is being able to understand what we're doing and why, and then being able to translate that on the field. And going against our defense every day in spring and fall camp has given him a great opportunity. And he's made a ton of explosive plays. I mean, he really has. So every opportunity that he's being presented for this game is all well earned.
So, like, really big picture, how much do you view or looking forward to this season for you is a bit of establishing an offensive identity again? In that, I mean, I could argue for any number of reasons last year between short year and who was available, who wasn't. Mississippi State, due to quarterback availability, that was inconsistent for you. And you talk about the number of plays, you guys talked about it last season on a per game basis, and you go back to Penn State, you were closer to 70 plus plays a game. We're in the mid 60s or lower at times, even the past couple of years. How much of this is with a full sample and more experience back and all this, a chance to establish an identity that you haven't had necessarily a chance to do the past couple of seasons? Yeah, I mean, there was
last year was, I guess, irregular in a lot of ways. From how the whole thing played out. So certainly, we've had a very good track record of success with this offense over the years at different spots. But I think the biggest area of optimism is the fact that we had an entire spring ball and entire fall camp, and then getting ready to go into the season. So
Good stuff there from Joe Moorhead, the Oregon offensive coordinator. It's a full season now for the Ducks. They had a full offseason. We talked to Alex Forsythe about that after practice today. We'll have that interview for you later this week on Duck Insider. Coming up on Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. A look ahead to the color schedule for the team. We've got one for you, and it's always going to be on GoDucks.com. I love this addition to the schedule. More on that coming up next on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
What's with Mountain Dew? Mountain Dew is like a zipline of incredible flavor directly into your brain. Mountain Dew is like getting punched in the mouth with pure neon refreshment that creates a neural explosion, sending flavor shards of electric brain pulses into your very core of being. Okay, maybe that's a little over the top, but you get the idea. The fact is, the mind-bending challenge of describing the taste of Mountain Dew is way harder than just experiencing it. That, of course, is easy. Just grab an ice cold Dew, crack it open, and toss them back. Mountain Dew. Do the Dew.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in. OnPointCU.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
More Duck Insider coming up on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Okay, man, this is your time. Maybe you didn't choose this, but you're here now. You're gonna go out there and be an all-star caregiver. Cook, clean, be there emotionally and physically. You gotta dig deeper. Drive them to physical therapy, doctor's appointments, because that's what caregivers do. Don't give up. Show the world that you're tougher than tough.
Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
To some, the sound of a baby babbling doesn't mean much, but that's not true. They're testing out vowels and consonants and trying different sounds. And by 12 months, their babbling is beginning to take on meaning, especially if there's no babbling at all. Little to no babbling by 12 months or later is just one of the possible signs of autism in children. Learn more at autismspeaks.org. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
Back on Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. My thanks to Joe Moorhead for taking the time. Always brought to you by our friends at the Willamette Valley Cancer Institute and Research Center. Fight like a duck with cancer care you can count on. We talked with Matt Ulmer, Rob Mullens. Great show today. Thanks for being with us. If you missed any of it, always subscribe to the Oregon Sports Network podcast, and you can go back and watch the show via the GoDucks YouTube, GoDucks Facebook, the Oregon Sports Network Twitter, all the different ways. First Coaches Show is going to feature Tim DeRuyter coming up tomorrow, 7:05 across the Oregon Sports Network. You can watch on the Oregon football social media channels and the GoDucks YouTube. We're going to have everybody here. Mike Jorgensen's going to be here, Jerry Allen, and Tim DeRuyter. Going to be a lot of fun. The color schedule has been released. Wear green this weekend. And if you go to the GoDucks.com football schedule, it says what color to wear now underneath every single game. Great addition. Great addition to the schedule. Thanks for being with us, everybody. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Have a good one.
It's 4 a.m., Monday, and you're literally sucking baby snot through a tube because she's congested. Man, that's love. And if you love her that much, love her enough to make sure she's buckled in the right car seat. To make sure your child's in the right seat for their age and size, visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Show them you love them. Keep them safe. Visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
America, your children have an amazing superpower. They can help save lives by not having play dates. That's right. By replacing get-togethers with virtual play dates and video chats, they can help slow the evil spread of germs. And if your superheroes do go outside, make sure they continue their superhero wing by staying 6 feet away from others to protect everyone in America land. Find out more at coronavirus.gov. A message from the CDC and the Ad Council.
When might you be buzzed? When you suddenly love everything.
You guys, I love this song. I love these nachos. I love our kickball league.